Okay, shalom. Right, we're in Parasha Vayera, and it's portion 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so do you want to start, Lovey?
1815.
1815 to 1918, I believe,
Okay.
or 1921.
And Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. And the men rose up from thence and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And Yahuwah said, Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I know him. Praise, yeah, isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
That he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahuwah to do justice, judgment, and Yahuwah may bring upon Abram that which he hath spoken of him.
That word is actually charity for justice. Well, it's sometimes justice or righteousness. It's tzedakah, that he will do tzedakah umishpat, justice, charity, righteousness, and justice. Mishpat, judgment, justice. So yeah, charity and justice.
Charity can be love feasts, can it?
That agape can be, can't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows hospitality, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Abraham had showed hospitality through the example.
Yeah, usually when it's in the feminine like that, it means actual charity.
Okay.
You know, being charitable towards others.
And Yahuwah said, verse 20, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because the sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. Well, this is strange, isn't it?
Yeah. What is wonderful though is these are words for us. You know, these are words for us also. When it says, and Yahweh said, am I concealing from Avraham what I am about to do? That word is ha-machase. It's a little bit like mask, machase. Am I going to mask, conceal from Avraham what I am about to do? So, you know, we are made aware. We are made aware by our Father who teaches us well through the Torah and through everything else that we study by divine providence. We are made aware of what he is about to do. We have this assurance in the Torah. We are made aware of what our Father is about to do, and we've just got to learn how to be trusted and guided by that, because you've got to make decisions on what our Father is revealing to us. You've got, you either believe it and respond to it, or you don't believe the guidance, don't believe the wisdom, get caught up in other beliefs and suffer as a consequence. So, be vigilant and also learn how to trust yourself. I always say I came so far. You know, I made good decisions in my life and I came so far. That don't mean to say that I did not have to go through some very, very difficult times of my life, but I got to where I am today. And there's a measure of trust that you can have and confidence that you can have in your ability to discern reality to bring you to the place you are at today. So we can trust these inspirations, we can trust these guidances. If you're always running around after the latest doctrine, wind doctrine, if you're always jumping and changing about your course without proper thorough, study and reasoning, you're in trouble. You've been up and down and up and down and round and round and round and round. You can't trust yourself. You can't trust yourself. The inspiration that you're getting is leading you a merry dance. So you got to ask yourself, is the way that I am responding to outside influence holy? Is it coming from a holy source, or am I just being led on a merry dance because I haven't refined myself enough to be able to receive that comes from a holy place? And if you find, well, actually that sounds a lot like me, pray about it, because you don't need to be influenced. You don't need to be governed and ruled by lies, So that, I just wanted to share that, because there's a lot of people that are running around like headless chickens, and they emotionally they're emotionally hijacked and captured by things that are going on in the world without knowing what God's plan is for them. So you need to have that assurance. I will dwell safely in my, He makes us dwell safely in our land. That's truth.
Verse 20, and Yahuwah said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come up to me. If not, I will know. Now, is this Yahuwah explaining himself, what he's going to do?
Mm-hmm.
You'd almost think that he'd already know without having to go.
Okay, so was not this message told to him via angels?
And no, it's 3 men.
Yeah, but there were angels in a way where there were messengers for certain things. So maybe it was the actual messengers. I don't know, lovey.
Okay, let's carry on, because I've got some more to say.
Yeah.
Okay. I will go down now and see you. Verse 22, and the men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom. Yeah?
Yeah.
So there's 3 men coming. He asked 3 men to stay. Would you please stay? And he entertained them and cooked this meal and talked with them. And we had the Sarah, your Sarah's going to have a child, and she laughed, and all this happened, yeah? But this is the thing that I want people to see. And the men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom.
Yeah.
These 3 messengers, were they representing Yahuwah? I believe they were.
Mm.
And was Yahuwah one of them? It looks as if it could be. But they turned and went towards...
Lovely.
A minute.
Mm-hmm.
They turned and went towards Sodom. But Abraham, listen what Abraham says. But Abraham stood yet before Yahuwah. This is a great example. A great example when things are happening spiritually and they depart. Can you yet stand before Yahuwah? Do you need to see him to stand before him? Do you have to feel his presence to stand before him? Are we just acting according to our flesh life and not our spiritual life? That's what I'm saying. Seeing circumstances and hearing things can be different from standing before Yahuwah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this what I was going to say actually was right at the beginning of this parashah. He's by his tent, isn't he? He's in the presence of Yahweh by his tent.
Well, it says when a man's in the tent doors, that's when he worships, isn't it?
Yeah, so
or meditates, yeah.
He's with Yahweh, and he leaves the presence of Yahweh to go serve these 3 men. Yeah. Then the 3 men leave, and he's left in the presence of Yahweh. So there is something in that, isn't there? He begins, look, it says, appeared to him did Yahweh in the plains of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance of the tent in the heat of the day.
Yeah.
And then the three men came.
Yeah.
So he was left there with the
Yeah, but if you look at the statement before, right?
Yeah.
And Yahuwah said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because of their sins is very grievous, I will go down now. Yahuwah said this. Yeah?
Just wait a minute.
Or not?
Yahweh said yes, he did.
Okay. He said, I am going to do this now. And the three men left. Yeah? I will go down now and see whether they have done according to the cry. She won't come down to me. If not, I will know. And the men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before Yahuwah. So even though Yahuwah was speaking in these three men and they left, Abraham still stood yet before Yahuwah. He was, as you said, and Yahuwah appeared unto him in the Psalms, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day, and he lifted up his eyes.
Yeah. This is written retrospectively again because it's very clear that Yahweh was never fully revealed to the patriarchs. Yahweh was never fully revealed to even say who his name was. So when it says Yahweh appeared to Avraham, Avraham really knew Yahweh through the name El Shaddai. That's what we're told. It was revealed to him. It says it in the Torah further on. So retrospectively, we know El Shaddai is Yahweh, but it's like this. Going back to the white light is Yahweh. But you know how the white light splits into seven when it reaches the water? 7 different lights because of the different frequencies of the different colours. So within that one name is all the other names of Yahweh. So it's like saying Abraham only saw the colour blue, you know, but we know that colour blue is part of the white light. Now retrospectively we know it was Yahweh, but Abraham was not experiencing the name of Yahweh as revealed to Moshe. He wasn't experiencing that. He was experiencing Yahweh, an aspect of Yahweh that is called the name El Shaddai, God Almighty. He wasn't experiencing Yahweh as what Moshe didn't experience Yahweh as we experience him through Yeshua. He'd never been revealed at that level before. So you've got to always understand, you've got to read in the full volume of the book, what he was experiencing here was an aspect of Yahweh through the name of El Shaddai. We retrospectively know that is only Yahweh. All those names apply to Yahweh, but they didn't know that at that time. They had not got access to the tree of life at that time. Only really truly through Yeshua have we got that. So that's the way I understand it. The other way is that sometimes the rabbis interpret these instances like this as it wasn't really the Lord, it was the angel of the Lord. You know, that's another way that it is retrospectively understood to be because of the context and also the phraseology, the use of pronouns and the change of, the change of from I to them and things like that, or from I to he. They're thinking, well, it's one or the other. It's either first person or third person, or so they've interpreted it as it must be the angel of the Lord, not the Lord himself that's speaking in that instance. But in this instance, we know through other passages in the Torah that it was revealed to Abraham the name El Shaddai.
What I'm enjoying is the intimacy that Abraham had here with Yahuwah, or Al Shaddai. But Abraham stood yet before Yahuwah.
Yeah.
Listen. And Abraham, this is just an intimate moment that's been bothered, and it's in English translation, but it affects my ruach when I see the intimacy that Abraham has with our Father.
Yeah.
And so the representation of him in physicality is left. He's now left, stood before Yahuwah, and Abraham drew near. So there's a difference between standing before Yahuwah and drawing near. Can you see this intimacy?
Yeah.
Is it written in Hebrew like that?
Yeah, it says, O Denu, still Omed, standing Lifnei before the face of Yahweh. Lifnei, Lipnei, before, in
Next
front.
bit. Next bit.
Wayigash, and forward Avraham came.
And forward Abraham came.
Yeah, Wayomer off Tispe. And he said, will it also be that you will destroy Tzaddik im Rasha, the righteous, along with the wicked?
Yeah, so now we're going to get into intercession on behalf of the righteous and the wicked from Abraham. Peradventure, there be 50.
Can you understand, though? Right, would he have needed to ask that question if he'd have truly known Yahweh?
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Why did Yahuwah have to go and check it was as wicked as it was wicked?
Yeah, this is what I mean. There's something allowing us to understand that whatever this was, it was a veiled aspect of Yahweh himself, wasn't it?
Well,
or an angel of the Lord.
Yeah, well,
or...
I think it was a revealing of himself. This is a revelation of himself, how he acts. He is omnipotent. He can see all things, yet he is still interested. He's not so high above everything he's lost interest and sees the end, like some people think it's all sorted out and we're the ones with all the struggle. No, Yahuwah wants to be in the struggle with you and to see how you respond, to try you, to prove you. And he wants you to try and prove him.
Yes.
This is the mystery that's wrapped up here. You see, this is why I'm amazed that the representation of him left him, yet he stood before Yahuwah. So Abraham already had a faith that knew Yahuwah without being able to see him. Well, you know, that's obvious, but it's a presence of mind for ourselves. That when his representation of him has left us, do we still have the ability to stand before him? You see what I'm saying? Even though everything is left, can I still stand before him? And can I draw near to him, even though there's no manifestation?
Yeah.
You see? It's what you call a confidence of faith. You know, a confidence in your belief so far that you're not moved by what's happening, you're moved totally by your faith. It says the just shall live by faith. Yeah. And this is what I believe Abraham is showing an example of here. Intimately, standing, drawing near, asking, intercessing on behalf of the men of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
It's a precious moment.
Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
It's a precious moment. And now he's going to do this deal, isn't he? 50, 40, 35, 10, 15, 20. You know, how many you got to be righteous for you to save it?
Yeah, you know, going back to that name Shaddai, and you said you worship at the tent, the doors.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shaddai is a name that symbolises Shomer. I think it's I'm saying this from memory now. Shomer Dalatot Yisrael, the guardian of the doors of Israel. Okay, Shaddai. So maybe that is the reason why it was whilst he was sat at the door of his tent.
Yeah. Remember when Moshe was going to the tent of congregation?
Yeah.
Israel stood in the door of their tents. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yashrael stood in the door of their tents.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I got this habit. You know, if I get up in the morning and I open the front door.
Just speak up a bit, love.
I open the front door and I walk outside. It's just like a pattern. I've got an expectation in the mornings when I open my door
Yeah.
to walk through it. It's more spiritual than me realizing what I'm doing. It's like a draw that I want to open the front door and present myself at the door and walk through it.
That must be a man thing.
You think so?
Yeah.
How about Bo? Like maybe yeah, it's just
Isn't it
telling.
wonderful though?
Yeah, it's an inner thing. I just opened it and looked out this morning and closed it again, but usually I take my coffee out and walk out. Anyhow, let's carry on. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? There's a question.
Mm.
There's a question. Peradventure there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for 50 righteous that are therein? That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked. Now Abraham's telling Yah. Now Abraham is telling Yahuwah. Have you got that kind of relationship with him? If that be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shalt not the judge of all the earth do right? It's another question for Yahuwah.
Yeah. Don't you think though we have got a much deeper relationship with Yahweh through true knowledge of Yahweh that you get through Yeshua?
I don't think I know it.
Yeah, this is it. We have, because like true knowledge of Yahweh, which Avraham we told didn't have, because the Torah tells us itself that he didn't have that relationship with the name of Yahweh. It kind of illuminates for us a difference. It illuminates for us a difference, and also
I think the judgment of Abraham would be the same to Yahuwah if he knew the name as it would be to El Shaddai if this is who he's addressing at this moment. I know knowing his name changes things, but under what he knew as you've addressed it, to be asking him these things still shows a relationship where he can approach Yahuwah. He approached him, and now he's given El Shaddai, the Elohim that's more than enough, a mishvah of himself. Yahuwah, is it beyond you to destroy the wicked and the righteous together? It's beyond you to do this. How many? It's a.
yeah.
Some people argue with God. I've not had that particular experience and I'm not saying that that's a good thing. Maybe I would like it more if I had, because I've been brought up in a cottage with a rose around the door. But so in some ways I have had a hard way to think this way, to challenge Yahuwah, because it's all been grace and truth for the first 53 years. And then I found, we had to do something about it, like keep the Torah. But what am I saying here? I'm saying that this relationship really has to be personal and face to face. Abraham is getting in El Shaddai's face here.
Yeah. Have you not experienced arguing with God? I lots and lots and lots of times I have had conversations with God about very thick, truthful things that I am struggling to understand and comprehend and believe. I've presented it in a conversation, and through the conversation, sometimes we're having a conversation with God, but we're not having a conversation with God himself. Like I've had a problem down here, and I've been communicating and conversing with that problem to God, okay, to my version of God as is perceived through my confusion at that time. So I'm conversing with God through the conversion, in a conversation that is veiled by my present state of being
and knowing him.
in my present state of being as a result of being filled with a certain doubt or confounded. So it's like sometimes when your kids come to you and the conversation is quite accusatory or whatever because they don't understand something. But then you, in that conversation, they are, or a friend can come to you in a conversation and they've presented this problem. Well, I heard you said this and this and that. They've got the wrong end of the stick. So they've got the wrong end of the stick and they come towards you in that conversation with the wrong end of the stick, and through that conversation you're able to pacify them, and then they realise, oh right, oh yeah, I see now, yeah, I you would never have done that, I understand. Okay, and you were able to appease them through conversation, and the wrong end of the stick is turned back the right way, and then they're able to see you again in your true colours. Do you understand?
Yeah, I do.
So sometimes you enter into a conversation, especially when it's something that confounds you. You've just, well, you can't not let it go. You can't pretend this confounding doesn't happen. You can't just allow it to be whitewashed over. Oh, everything's all roses round the cottage door now. Something's happened to cause a conversation, to confront another person, because you don't fully understand what's going on and why. And in that particular state, there's a separation, if you like. Well, we need to iron this one out. Is not Avraham in that situation now? Because there's times when do you know in having that conversation with God about things like this, or having that conversation with other people, being very direct, you get to a place of shalom. Do you know why? Because God reveals himself. When you confront him in a conversation with your doubts, you say, look, Father, I just simply don't believe it. I can't understand how this could possibly be true. You know, I've got this doubt in my heart. It's really blocking me from moving on forward. And then, but when the truth is revealed, you think, oh, thank you for so much for illuminating. Yeah. You know, it brings you to that place of shalom. And not only that, it reveals more of the perfection and the echad of Yahweh. There's been things that I have struggled with. The concept of Metatron, who is called Shaddai, for example, the concept of the angel of the Lord. You know I've struggled. The concept of the Prince of the World. These are things I have wrestled with for a long time, to the absolute depth I possibly could. And there's times when it's obscured completely it's veiled my relationship with Yahweh, just to be that confounded by something from the Torah. And I've thought, gosh, to what degree have we been deceived?
Well, we're just coming to light. We're just coming to light on a lot of things.
But my confounding, not understanding a particular aspect of Torah, can bring a separation. And until I have that conversation with my Father, and sometimes it's very hard to, because these concepts create a big barrier. They can create a big barrier of suspicion, because you start thinking, who am I talking to? Is this the Prince of the World or Yahweh or what? Have I been hoodwinked to that degree? Yeah. We've sat here before, haven't we? And we've thought, what can we trust? What can we trust? Can we really trust that this knowledge of God that we've got is the truth? Given the forces of deception. We've sat here before, haven't we? And we've said to ourselves, what can you trust when you can't trust anything? You just have to trust the straightness that brought you to this day.
Yeah.
You've got to somehow trust the straightness that was invested in you, your Yashar El, that is inside you going forward, like an arrow that's been shot, but you know the straightness of your being, and you can trust that to a certain degree. And sometimes you've got to go through a dark tunnel and just know you're on target. When you can't trust, there's so many complicated and there's so many complicated concepts that you've got to be able to get through, and you can't always see where you're going with it, but you just have to sometimes trust who you are inside is going to get through that dark tunnel and still be on target when you get to the end. So conversations, this is a situation really that we all go through. We all go through them blind spots. We all go through fears and doubts, and just studying the Torah and studying the New Testament, it's confounding. You hear, lots of different reputable people give their opinions, and they're all completely different. You've got to somehow weigh it all up in the balance, and then you see with your own eyes the very power of evil in this world. And you think, where actually is he now? Where actually is he now? Why doesn't he just step in now? How does he tolerate this? How does he expect us to tolerate it? There's a lot. You can get to these situations.
He does expect this.
He expects us to really dig deep. He expects us to keep going and keep fighting and keep growing and keep maturing and keep going forward. Because he knows we can.
He's enabled us.
We put our faith in him. He puts our faith in us. But that don't mean to say that we don't go through blind spots that are very difficult to deal with. See, this is a blind spot for Avraham, isn't it?
Let's just listen to the prophecy that Yahuwah says over him.
Yeah, go on then.
For I know him.
Yes.
That he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of Yahuwah to do justice and mishpat, that Yahuwah may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. Now that's the vision of Yahuwah over Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets in his face.
Yeah.
Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? Verse 26. And Yahuwah said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all that place for their sakes.
I've meditated on that before, because I've thought to myself, the only reason why this is not getting destroyed is because of that. Somewhere in there are 10 righteous people. Because I'm thinking to myself, surely, given this level of evil, something should have happened. But for the sake of the righteous...
It's his mercy.
Yeah, it's his mercy, 100%.
And Abraham answered and said, behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto Yahuwah.
It's actually to Adonai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which, it's just no difference in the English. Which, but dust and ashes. Peradventure, there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for the lack of 5? And he said,
Can I just point something out?
Let's just finish the verse.
Yeah, go on.
If I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it.
Okay. Avraham actually uses the word anachi at this point. Anachi afar we'efer, although I am but dust and ashes. So that's the Egyptian. When Yahweh calls himself anachi, it's actually an Egyptian word for I am. It's not ani, is it? So that's quite interesting that Avraham calls himself anachi. He is dust and ash in his lowest, most humble form, because the Egyptian language represents the most humble, lowly, well, it's actually debased language, isn't it? So he's actually seeing himself. This is what sometimes happens, isn't it? When you're in those places of confrontation, you don't feel like confrontation or confoundingness, where you're having to have a conversation with God that's difficult to have, to be truly honest and expose yourself. There is a humility in that, admitting the truth of how you feel given what you are experiencing in this world. There is a humbling, like, Anachi, I'm just dust and whatever, but I'm in this situation and I'm going to say what I've got to say anyway, because it's only right.
Yeah, but let's just think of that.
Yeah.
Should we continue in that?
Well, I'm just talking from experience. I'm just
Yeah, I
being
know. But
honest. In an experience,
should we
yeah.
come to a place where He's given us power to become Ben Yahuwah?
Yeah.
We have all the teachings and understanding. We have Here's an intimate moment with Abraham and Yahuwah. We even have this described and recorded for our own benefit, that we may learn and take example from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Abraham is aiming towards the promises which he's received from Yahuwah.
Yeah.
You're going to be a great nation. So at this point, Isaac's still not born yet he's in this struggle at that time in his life.
Yeah.
In Yahuwah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's almost yeah. I know what you mean, but there's where you have the biggest struggles anyway, aren't there? Once you entered into the blessings,
who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, that you're not going to have the struggles that Abraham had? That you can live like a king on earth because you know it all and got it all. Well, it's not that I know it and got it all. It's the promises that come through knowing Mashiach. It's what we've received in receiving the Mashiach and living in the Ruach HaKodesh. We are such a bountiful time to be living, and yet the whole world looks more wicked than Sodom and Gomorrah ever was. Yet He's given all these promises, and they are being obtained, and we are beginning to live in the authority that Yahuwah has given us.
Yes,
We're not breaking down by these old problems that have had us gripped for the last 50 or 50, 60 years of my life, because I was in a childhood known as about 7 when I came to know Yahuwah, or come to know Jesus Christ as my personal Savior, if you want to say it in the old language. But it was a real happening. I can't deny that I knew to change even at that age. There was a transformation at that age, and I've struggled with that transformation for the next 50 years.
We've all had to struggle with the Antichrist, though, haven't we? And believing that is the thing.
Well, I didn't even believe he was Antichrist,
No, that's what I mean. You're so deluded.
Yeah, but the thing is,
you're paying homage to the Antichrist.
Yahuwah knows that you're deluded, yet He sees your purity of faith.
Yes, He does.
He sees your innocence.
He tests
and you know what He wants you to be in the fullness of stature?
Yes.
He wants you to be innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah? So if He sees innocence, He will respond to innocence. It's like a 4-day or a young lamb that is perfect, ready for the slaughter. If He sees you ready for the slaughter, yet you have faith. You have faith in what's been presented to you, what's presented you as the Creator of heaven and earth.
Yeah.
This is why it passes all religions. Faith in Yahuwah. Yahuwah sees it. Yahuwah sees innocency. Hallelujah.
Yeah. Can I just go back to that word, Anachi?
Yes.
Because he says, Anachi, afar wa efer, I am but dust and ash. It's actually afar with an ayin and afar, efer with an aleph. So exactly the same other than ayin and aleph, which is quite unusual. It's like or and or, skin and light, But anyway, there's a concept within, when you're building up the kingdom of heaven, you have to have two qualities simultaneously working within you. One, exaltedness. You need to know you are the children of the King. At all times, you need to be aware you are the children of the King. That you are royalty. That you have been purchased at a very high price. That you are part of the King's household. But at the same time, you've got to know you are humble. You are truly humble, not humble, false humble, ever so humble, but not false humility, true humility. And this is what we're seeing here. Avraham doesn't fully understand what's going on, and he knows in order to be at peace, he's got to challenge that doubts or fears or curiosity, whatever you want to call it, that's confounding him at this time. And when he does that, he's in a very humble state. He even calls himself Anachi.
Do you think he's confounded? I don't know if he's confounded.
Well, whatever it is, if God said He was going to do it, right? If God said to me, I'm going to do that, depending on your state of nearness to God at that time, when you truly know God as is revealed to us through Yeshua, and He said something to you, when you're in His presence and it's revealed to you something's going to happen, you're at peace with it because you know who's going to do it. He's such a loving God that the only reason why He's doing it has got to be in somehow to do with that love. You might not understand it, but you've got this firm and blessed assurance that He don't do wickedness. He only does things. He can't possibly act out of any sense of
Injustice.
It's got to be a perfectly some aspect of love. So you've got that blessed assurance. But when you, whatever, are a little bit veiled from that, then you're thinking to yourself, hang on a minute, what's going on here? I need to ask a few questions. And you need to ask the questions to get back into that presence where you've got that blessed assurance in His absolute mercy and His absolute attributes for good. You know, you've got to sometimes unveil yourself through the challenge of the conversation. You're really trying to get back. Just wait a minute, this don't make sense to me right now. You're just being honest. And then you get that blessed assurance, all right, yeah, get it now. And you realise these stumbling blocks were there just to bring you into intimacy with the Father. They weren't there to ultimately leave you confounded and secluded in your confoundedness or your doubts or your fears. They were there for you to press in. Go on, challenge me then. Challenge me then. Challenge me. Or, you know what I mean? This don't make sense. And get into that place of blessed assurance again. Blessed assurance in the knowledge of His name. It's bringing yourself back on target, isn't it? Remembering Yeshua. Because you see, when we're in this world, we can forget. You know, we can forget. We can be all pumped up full of our own emotions and our own thoughts and our own perspectives.
Through Yahuwah's great mercy, we're actually now been able to introspect Abraham himself. Now, if Abraham is looking down from the clouds of heaven, do you think he would be happy that we're pulling this point to pieces? I believe he would be joyful to see us dividing him to see truth. Now, I tell you what, when you get religious, you can get to a place of false humility.
Yeah.
And this stinks in Yahuwah's ears. So this statement that he says is not false humility. He's not trying to appease Yahuwah. He's coming in the searching of his own soul. He realizes he's just dust. Yeah, with breath. He's bringing the creation down to, I know Adam was formed of dust. You know, what else did he say? Ashes. Yeah. Ashes. Verse 28. Peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy the city? 5. And he said, If I find 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him yet again, and said, Peradventure. What's that word in Hebrew, peradventure?
Just say which verse again, lovey, because
Verse 28. And he spake unto him again and said,
Perhaps, uloi.
Perhaps. Perhaps there shall be 40 found. And he said, I will not do it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, Oh, let not Yahuwah be angry. He's treading on tight ground now, I believe he's actually feeling. And I will speak, peradventure there be 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30. And he said, Behold now, I have taken on me to ask Yahuwah, peradventure there be just 20 found.
He's not asking Yahuwah. The word he's using is Adonai,
I can only say.
my master,
Yeah,
my master. And he's actually saying the word no, please.
Okay.
Continually says, when it says now, he's not saying please.
Please. Peradventure there be 20 found. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20. And he said, Oh, let not. Adonai.
Yeah, Adonai is using
Be
Adonai.
angry, and I will speak. Yet but this once, peradventure 10 shall be found. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And Yahuwah went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham and returned unto his place. And Abraham returned to his place.
Yeah.
Okay, where did Abraham go?
Probably back to his Makoma.
Well, no, he went to stand before Yahuwah. And he returned. Yeah.
Okay,
And Adonai went his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham, and Abraham returned unto his place.
Yeah, he's having a spiritual. Is something spiritual is
That's
going
right.
on, and he's
We must
come
see
back
it.
down to earth.
We read through this without perceiving what's actually happening.
He reached his place of shalom at this point, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He reached his place of shalom.
Well, it doesn't actually say that. He just might have, and Yahuwah went his way. So Abraham had hope that there could be 10 people in Sodom and Gomorrah that was righteous.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not actually answered, is it?
No.
Okay, well,
So we'll leave it at that.
We let it go get away with it, Sarah. But I did enjoy that.
I think we should just leave it because we've spoke quite a lot today, longer than what we were thinking about, weren't we? But that's quite a lot to think about. You could meditate on that quite a lot and grow spiritually as a consequence.
Well, how many times do you approach Yahuwah with something? This was not for Abraham himself. This was for people. So Abraham's heart was looking unto saving lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Praise you.
Yeah.
But it seems that it doesn't seem. It's obviously determined that Yahuwah is going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah.
Mm.
And he does.
Yeah. Yes, he does.
And many died.
Lots.
No, Lot gets away with it.
Yeah, lots. You did that on purpose, didn't you? You did. He actually spared an entire city that was destined to be. It's so hard, wasn't it? He spared an entire city that was destined to be destroyed because of the sake of Lot. Again, another one arguing, weren't it? I can't make it up there.
Yeah.
That's too far to go.
Where's the grateful heart we'll have?
I'll tell you, I don't know. He got what he asked for, though. So, yeah, he was shown mercy. Okay, love. Shalom.
Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.